All right, I'm back on here with episode 3 of 52 Weeks of Live Coding.net. And I have been playing around with different tooling inside of GitHub code spaces. And one of the things I was kind of curious to look into today and maybe explore with you live is I found out that potentially you can deploy a Blazor application to AWS S3 as a static hosted site, essentially competing with Hugo technologies. So that's very, very interesting. And I thought I would just play around with it. So let's go ahead and get started with that. What I will do is share my screen. And let's get into this. So yeah, I'm going to go over to the AWS documentation, AWS documentation for .NET Deploy Tool. And I'm going to just start playing around with this a little bit, and I want to see what's going on. So here we go. So AWS SDK for .NET. So what is it? You can see that it's a tooling for working with AWS and .NET, which is definitely something that I've played around with this, and that's fun. But there's a deploy tool that I want to play around with, and why is it not coming up handy here? So here we go, deploying. That's what I was looking into. Okay, so we've got AWS Deploy Tool, but I want to see, so this supports deployment of ASP.NET Core, as well as .NET Console and Blazor WebAssembly applications. So this is definitely pretty slick here. And how do you do this? So I want to see some examples. So Blazor WebAssembly app. So the AWS Deploy Tool for the .NET CLI helps you host your Blazor WebAssembly application in Amazon S3 using CloudFront. So this is very, very cool. How did I not know about this? And what I like about it, it says your app is deployed to an S3 bucket for web hosting. So the advantage of this that I think many people don't talk about when they're talking about S3 for web hosting is that it's read-only, right? We have some major problems with cybersecurity worldwide. There's just too many to enumerate, but the fact that you can create web applications that are eliminating 99% of the surface area of attack, right? Because if they're immutable by design, there's nothing to hack because the website is literally a file that cannot be modified. And so I think that this concept is something that many organizations that have to deal with security should really think about more heavily. And in this particular example, this tool would create and configure an S3 bucket and then upload the Blazor application to the bucket. So this is very, very exciting. And so the deploy tool has the following capabilities. It has auto packaging and deployment. It has repeatability and shareable deployments. It also has the ability to help you with learning AWS CDK for .NET. So, I mean, this is literally like someone put their hand inside of my brain, reached into it, and took out some things that I was hoping that AWS would have build at some point, and then they built it. So I'm super excited actually to play around with it. What I can do in order to do this is, I guess, look at the how to install first. So here we see the AWS Deployment Tool. Now, I would say probably the easiest way to play around with this, in my opinion, would be to go to Cloud9. So I'm gonna follow my style, which I'm gonna go to console in AWS. I'm gonna log in, and I'm gonna try out some ideas here. So here we go. Let's go ahead and log in here. Okay, so what I would recommend if I was going to play around with this, is I like Cloud9 personally, and I'm going to go ahead and play around with Blazor. We'll call this Blazor S3 Deploy, and I'm going to say this is a repo for playing around with .NET Deploy. Okay, and I mean, because we're dealing with like kind of bigger projects, I'm gonna pick a beefy machine, maybe something that's got 16 gigs of RAM, potentially at least, and maybe eight CPUs. That looks pretty good. And I would always recommend using the defaults here. Like, don't make things more difficult for yourself. And let's go ahead and say next step. All right, so we're going to build out this new environment. And the reason I think that this potentially could be one of the cooler places to experiment with this tool is that this tool itself will allow us to effectively bypass some of the API keys and all the other weirdness that pops up when you're dealing with things like this. So here we go. We can see a nice little slick environment here for us to play around with. Looks very sharp on my end, and like good fonts and everything. And we can just go through step by step. We could say, okay, what's the first thing we need to do? So installing the deployment tool, we need to do .NET tool install G AWS deploy.tools. Okay, let's do it. Let's go through here. So the .NET tool is not installed, which is going to be something we need to fix. So in order to do it, you need this, the AWS account, and you need to do .NET Core 3.1 or later. It's installed with .NET SDK. And so let's see here. So we should the .NET CLI is included in the .NET SDK. So let's go ahead and see if we can install this. So here we go. Use it. You can find it on the .NET downloads page. So if we go to the .NET downloads page, we would want to go to Linux, install Linux instructions. Here we go. Downloadable tar files. I would believe it's going to be getting started with .NET format. We probably want this executable. Let's go to next. Okay, we get all this stuff. Well, let's go to the AWS documentation here. Let's go AWS install .NET. Let's see what they say. Okay. .NET Core optional. Let's see, AWS install .NET Cloud 9. Let's try that. Cloud 9. Here we go. User guide. Perfect. .NET version. Okay, so the first thing to confirm .NET version. Do we have this? Does this work? It does not work. And so if the tool is displayed, go ahead and skip. If the version is less than blah, 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 blah. For Amazon Linux in a Cloud 9 environment, you do this. And to install a lib unwind package that the .NET Core needs, and then download this. Oh, okay, so let's try this. Let's see if this works. So we go here. We'll do an update. Okay, next up, let's do download the .NET SDK installer. let's go here and do that. Did we already do that? Okay, we need to do that. Yeah, and then let's go ahead and run the .NET. Let's grab it, chmod it, and execute it. So we'll say chmod plus x .NET install, .NET install. Note the intended use is for CI scenarios. Okay, well, did it work now? .NET catch version. Come on, why does this not work? Set up the development environment, use installers rather than a script. Oh, it says it's already installed. Okay, now what do you want me to do? Run it by running this command. Well, let's try that command. Let's just do it the way they want us to do it. I don't know what that really changes, but it looks like it was already installed. Oh, I see, add the .NET Core to your path. Oh, okay. Well, I know how to open up the bash RC. Let's do that. Bash RC. Let's get to the bottom here and add .NET to path. Let's try that. And so we'll source this so it's in our path now. And now does .NET work? Come on. Yes. All right, so we're making some progress. That looks good. You can also do this for the Lambda function. So we don't care about that now. We got that part solved. So now all I need to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and install the Aws Deploy Tools. So we'll go through here. Ooh, very nice. Whoa. And then add this to our path. Everybody wants to add stuff to our path. If you're using Bash, you can do this. You can add it to the current session. Well, thanks for letting us know. I'm just going to be old school and just edit it myself. Thank you. And there we go. Then I'm going to, again, source my bash RC. So we got this thing installed. If we don't need to update because it just installed. Okay, so we got that going. We already do credentials. We don't need that. Deploy hello world. We don't need to do this, but what I am curious about is that now that we've got the tool installed, how do we get this working? That's the next question. So Blazor WebAssembly apps, we've got the .NET CLI installed, but how do I build a WebAssembly into S3 and deploy it? That is a great question here. So to learn more, see the tool overview. The .NET Deploy GitHub repo. Let's check this out. Let's see here. Okay, we like this. Okay, here we go. We did all this stuff. To deploy your application, cd to the directory, and do the deploy. Supported applications, Blazor, can be deployed to an S3. This will be created and configured by the tool, which then upload your, wow, so this is what I want. But where is my documentation for how to do this? Developer guide. Well, let's see who did the first. We need to do this. We need to go to let's see here, Blazor web application S3 example. Example. When we Google it, what do we got? We have somebody did a YouTube video. Let's see. I'll show you how to deploy your in S3 for very low cost. Well, I would prefer to see like a documentation example here. I'm trying to do this. Let's try this. What do we got? .NET make directory, Blazor, run it, publish it. Okay, so I think the first thing I need to do is just make a Blazor directory. Let's be optimistic here. So Blazor, we'll say AWS Blazor, or no, we'll say create Blazor hello world. Hello world. So let's first go to the official documentation for Microsoft, and it will do this. We'll copy the instructions here, but no, actually don't. I didn't want that yet, because what I wanted is I don't care about that. I just want to make a Blazor app. There we go. I just want no options, anything. And what do we got? We see this looks like a Blazor application. We have the hello world code here inside. This looks good. If we go to pages, we should have a template here. Look, this is all good. Okay, this looks like what we want. So next, the question is going to be, how do I then deploy this application? So this person says go into there and do publish. Oh, maybe it's that simple. Okay, let's try this out. So let's cd into this directory. And we'll say .NET publish. Now, hopefully it asks me now the question, do I want to deploy to S3? And then we can do it that way. Let's see here though. So it's going to say, okay, well that blog entry didn't work. Add commit. We don't. How are they doing? So they're adding this into their build spec.yaml file. Publish release. Publish. Release. Rewrite all requests to index.html. That seems like, I mean, if I have to do that, I have to do that. But it's a bummer they don't give us documentation here about how to do this inside of Blazor. But let's see. So we have this video request, we have some HTML, we have the C#. I see. So this just shows us how you could just literally draw. This is what I was looking for. So alternately, you can also do .NET publish, output web publish. This is what I'm looking for. Aha. And then you sync it. Wow. Okay. So this is more something I'm familiar with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the console here, and I'm going to create a new bucket real quick into S3. Come on. Really, S3 doesn't show up in the search. What? Why is S3 not showing up? Don't know, but here we go. I'm going to create a bucket called Blazor, or Blaze. I always mess up Blazor. What is it? Blazor. Blazor July 52022. How about that? It's probably unique, and we want to say we do want it to be public, and we'll say advanced settings, anything. I think this is what we want. Oh, must not contain uppercase. Okay, we'll fix that. Blazor July 52022. Looks good. And then also for this bucket, We can do properties. And we can do static website hosting. We'll say enable. And sure, let's just try this. And we'll call this index.html. I'm assuming it makes an index.html, but we're getting closer here. This might work. Okay, let's go through here, and I'm going to just make a little keeper for me, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to say something like that. So in this case, you can also run it and copy the content under web publish. I see. So let's try this. So if I'm inside of here, .NET publish client CS project web publish. Does this work? Ooh. There we go. Blazor app. That's what we need. Blazor app. Okay. Blazor app. There we go. Perfect. Now the web publish directory, let's look in there. Let's see what's inside. Ooh, I don't want that. /L and web publish. So I'm assuming the www roots, there we go. So we just see that there's not a lot of stuff in there. I guess that's all we care about, although where's the index.html file? That's kind of weird, but let's keep going here. So it says you can do this. Huh. Copy the available contents to your bucket name. Okay, well, we could try that. We could say AWS S3 sync from this folder. So we want to be inside of the www root. Okay, let's go into there. All right. Now, I am a little shocked that there's no index.html. That seems problematic, but who knows? And let's go back to this. And we just want to do S3 here. And we want to get that last command, which was, here we go, wait, this one. This is the name of the bucket. So I go back here and I put this in, what happens? And let's look at the documentation that they're doing. They want to say, okay, so this does sync it, which is cool. Again, I'm kind of surprised there's no actual index.html file, which is weird. How can this possibly work? Why is it not creating an index.html? But what we can see is that in theory, this could work, because look, it put some stuff inside of here. And then if we go to access points, no, we go to properties, and we scroll down to the static website hosting page, we get a forbidden. so we have to also change the permissions. And I always forget to when I create a static, let's see, static hosted website, AWS, they give us typically some instructions here. And it says host one with AWS Amplify. That's one way. but there should be another way where they give you, yeah, here we go, enabling the website endpoints. You do this, we do this, we do this, we did all this stuff. And enabling the hosting, we did it. Enter the name of the file, typically index.html. So that is what I'm confused about, is why didn't it, when I did the publish, why didn't it create that index.html file? So this is a good place to actually stop. So next week, I'm going to figure out the mystery. I got pretty far, which is I was able to go through here and get at least the concept working, where you could, in theory, deploy directly to S3. I think I'm missing something though, where there may be an easier way to do the deploy with the right flag or something like that. But it definitely looks very, very promising to use Blazor to directly deploy to S3. Okay, I'll see you all next week, and we'll continue to go on that